What is up, fellow benchwarmers? Welcome to your daily fantasy. What's up, guys? It's a Saturday edition of your daily fantasy quickie. Nearing the end of week 22 with me, JJT, and Komish Eric. How's been the week for you, Komish? Exciting week so far.
Yeah. I have 3 playoff matchups and it looks like 1 maybe could win, 2 maybe will lose. So it's close, but everything is close. It's okay. Not as stressful because not expecting much. Really, I'm against tough opponents and I have a lot of injuries. So I'm just enjoying it, seeing where it goes.
I, on the other hand, have 4 at the moment. 2 might be on their way to move on. The other 2, still very close. Both those teams. So it might boil down to tomorrow's games and Monday's games to see how close it will be. Because tomorrow my opponent have Jokic, KD, so those are big name players that can change the complexion of the matchup. So, but yeah, let's talk about some injuries today. Jeremy Grant, calf strain, calf injury. That means more Marvin Bagley.
Yeah, I think so. He didn't finish the game. I will be very surprised if he plays in their next game, given they've been resting him anyways. So they might just give him the season.
I wouldn't be surprised if they just don't play him at all for the next 2 weeks.
I won't be surprised, but I don't want to say for certain that will happen, given so many surprises that are happening right now. People coming back out of nowhere. Kristaps playing second back-to-back in a row. So not complaining, again, just happy. So you just don't know what to expect. But logically, yeah, they should be resting Grant at this point.
And Marvin Bagley should be the guy to pick up there. Not Olynyk, who's a manager favorite pick up, but did not play today despite Jeremy Grant being out.
I think he's out of the rotation the past few games, or been playing very limited minutes. So no, Olynyk right now it's tankathon time. So veterans are out.
Yeah. Other players who will be out tomorrow. Drew is going to be out. Giannis is probably the biggest fantasy killer of week 22. How many games did he play? Did he play a game? I don't think he played a game.
I think 1. I'm not sure. Maybe 1. Yeah. If he doesn't play tomorrow, maybe he ends up with just 1 for this week. That's gonna be. I know a lot of managers are still alive that own Giannis because of how good he has been, right? So this is came out of nowhere. So that's really, really rough for them.
So he could be out again tomorrow. So that's the last game. That's their last game of the week. Drew is sure to be out. So in case players like who are good pickups there. Middleton is not a pickup, but other players, Javon Carter could be an option. George Hill, Pat Connaughton, those guys could be.
Just to clarify, I think Giannis' outlook has improved compared to the one we talked about last night or the other night. Reportedly, he's feeling better, and usually he doesn't have a history of resting a lot of games or taking a lot of games off. So I'll put the chances of him playing tomorrow higher than 50%. So don't just lose hope, But if he doesn't play, a lot of players will be really good for them as streamers.
Yeah.
For tomorrow.
Malcolm
I'll add some injuries.
Yeah.
Before Malcolm, Gallinari got an elbow injury. This might not do anything for week 22 because they don't have games anymore. But if he misses games, Collins is out. Bogdan was questionable and didn't play today. There'll be players, Okongwu, Dillon, right?
Yeah,
right?
But it's so hard to add any of those guys at this point.
For next week. Next week.
given that they don't have any games already this week. So unless you secured that next week slot, then that's the only time you add them. But if not, might not be worth adding. But yeah, something to look forward to or watch out for in the coming days in preparation for next week. But as I was saying, Malcolm Brogdon is out of the injury report. So let's see if he plays.
Malcolm Brogdon and Shea Gilgeous-Alexander holds my fantasy hopes in my team, in my Champions League team. Both of them are going to play tomorrow. If both of them
I
play
think
tomorrow,
Shea is questionable, right?
yes, exactly. I mean, they have games tomorrow. So if both of them play tomorrow, it's gonna be very, 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 very helpful to my team to win the Champions League. I'm sure JC is hoping they don't play. Let's see. Let's see both of these guys.
Just to secure it tomorrow, because tomorrow's a big game. If it's close, then that would put a little more concern. But I think, like you said, JC's team is stacked. He still got Chris Paul. He was able to pick up Chris Paul early this week. So yeah, let's see what happens. But it looks close, really close at this point. Other players that you might want to consider, Denny Avdia has been playing well. They have a game on Monday, so in case you need some scoring, some threes, some rebounds, he could be your guy. Satoransky played in replacement of Neto, who did not play.
Yeah.
Feels like I wasted a move picking up Neto for a back-to-back. And he only played one game in that back-to-back.
But this is something I don't think anybody can predict. I mean, from starting to out of the rotation. But again, as you said, it could be a one-game thing. Tomorrow, they might go back to Neto. We don't know that. I mean, it's still possible. But of course, Neto is a drop at this point. Avdiha, on Monday, yeah. Avdiha, I think, should be added to that Monday game. Kyle Kuzma, I just wrote here, he probably is a drop if you're in your last, semis or finals. I don't know if he's gonna return this year. So that gives a chance for Avdiha to continue playing as well as he has been playing.
Yeah. So Satoransky, who replaced Neto, it's so hard to get players from that guard rotation. So I'd rather stay away from that because you might be wasting a move. Killian Hayes could be the better option in case you're looking at the Monday schedule. Killian has been playing well the past, I think, 3 games already, 2 to 3 games. So and he's getting minutes. So yeah, this could be.
Yeah, he's getting 32 minutes.
He could be your unsung hero for this week.
Could it be finally Killian after the whole season? I've been as I said, I'm intrigued. The 1.3 steals, today he had 3 steals, 2 blocks, I think.
Yeah,
and he had, I think, 6 or 7 assists. So it's just someone in a playoff situation. If you're not worried about field goal, if you're not worried about it, someone that you can just roll the dice with. I mean, the chances of him getting 2 steals, 2 blocks will be at least higher than, I don't know,
the other
Satoransky.
Yeah,
Satoransky, for instance, right? So, yeah,
I just remembered last year, I think Killian had this one game wherein he had like 7 steals.
Yes.
And I think it was really playoffs as well, or at least close to that during that playoff window. So he could be a high risk, high return kind of player for you.
For sure, he's a high risk player because he can give you 1 out of 8, 1 out of 9, 6 turnovers, nothing else. He could easily do that. So really high risk.
Yeah. So if you want to roll the dice, I mean, your Hail Mary ad for Monday. Torian Prince is another player who's been pretty decent scoring and threes. So in case you want some of those stats, for steals, Gary Payton Jr. is Gary Payton. Is it Gary Payton Jr.? Gary Payton the second or the third?
I think the GP2. I think the second. I think they call him
Gary
the second.
Payton the second is a guy that can give you steals, although they have a back-to-back. So just be cautious about adding him. They might rest him on the first half of the back-to-back, which is Monday game, Manila time. Quickly, single-handedly beat the Miami Heat this morning, and he shouldn't be available. I think at this point he should not be available there.
I hope he's not available. But if somehow your league treated him as a streamer and he's somehow there, with Randall, I don't know what status of Randall. He's still out. Yeah, quickly is probably going to be 22, 23 points, second top scorer for them outside of RJ Barrett. So I think quickly is a good player there. Talking about Torian, Malik Beasley got hurt today. So that Torian's problem ever since has been the minutes. He's only getting 18, 19 minutes. He's been scoring 14 points and all those 3-pointers and steals in limited minutes. Without Beasley, might get him to 23, 24 minutes. That might help him get there. That will be even better. Next week, Minnesota. He's a good ad, I think.
Yeah.
Torian Prince.
Now, for next week, talking about next week, in case you're ready to prepare for next week, you are sure of this week's matchup. Okongwu, like we said, Dylan Wright could be a good play. Isaiah Hartenstein is another player that could be a good play. And that gives us a segue to next week's schedule. So like Komish said, there will be no 2-game schedules for any teams next week.
Yeah. There will be no two teams with 2 games, but there will be a team with 5 games. That's Cleveland.
Yeah.
If you're playing against Garland or Markkanen or all those the other players, you're in trouble a little bit. But as you can see, as we said the other day in our live, 22 teams have 4 games, 7 teams have 3 games. So very few teams have few games. And if you actually own some of the teams with only 3 games, like Brooklyn, it's not all bad news because Brooklyn has a good streaming schedule. So next week, basically, they're really almost all teams have good schedule. So it should be a fair fight.
Well, fair, assuming no one rests, but yeah.
Well,
the rest has always been the opponent of every manager during these times, right? So so no 5 games late. So in case you want to prepare for next week, players like Lamar Stevens, players like Isaac Okoro, even Kevin Love, who I've seen in a few waiver wires. Yeah.
People have dropped Kevin Love.
I've seen 1 or 2 leagues wherein he's still available. So yeah, they could be good plays for next week. Yeah, so that's the team. Any particular team with good schedule in terms of quality days?
That's the team that I mentioned a while ago. That's Brooklyn, that's Chicago, that's Philly, and that's Utah. As you can see, the breakdown of games here, Manila time. Wednesday, Friday, Sunday, Manila time, or Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday in the US or in the other parts of the world have 5 games. That's very clear cut. That's the games you stream. The other 4 days have full schedule. So that's Wednesday, Friday, Sunday, 5 games. And the team that has
all right, so it seems like we lost Komish a bit.
So
yeah, we lost you a bit. Komish. Are you there? All right, we are back. We lost some internet connection or connectivity for a bit there, but we were talking about the quality days. Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday having the best days to stream. And you were talking about some teams that you can look into or teams that you can look into in streaming in these days.
Yeah, the teams are Brooklyn, Philly, Chicago, and Utah.
Yeah.
As you can see, they have exactly games on all those days. So, but the problem is really they're not the teams that are appealing to stream. I guess that's why Nick Claxton, if you were able to add him for the back-to-back, the next
On Monday.
because the last 2 days they have back-to-backs in the last 2 days.
Yeah.
And then you can just keep him all the way until next week. So he's really good. Caruso also has a similar situation. But Whiteside, by the way, is injured. So that's another player out. So within these 4 teams, I can name probably these 4 players as the only streams that I can think of. I don't know if you can think of anybody else, but these are the 4 players that you can stream for all those days.
Yeah. Claxton, Caruso, Niang, and Royce O'Neal. Royce O'Neal, KC is still available there. So yeah. So in terms of matchups, Denver has a good matchup. Houston, well, they have a good matchup. They have a relatively good matchup considering that they're not really one of the better teams out there. But at least the competition is as good as them in most of their matchups.
Yeah. Houston and Portland. Houston and Portland.
So Portland has OKC, New Orleans, San Antonio twice. So that looks like a good matchup. Well, also a good matchup for their opponents because Portland has been blown out regardless of opponents, and OKC is another team that you can consider.
But
with
I'm most interested. I'm most interested in Denver. The Charlotte game, Indiana, Minnesota and Charlotte actually gives up the 2 most, and the Lakers, 3 teams that give up the most fantasy points opposing big men. So, come on, Jokic. I mean, this.
So we don't want to jinx it, but Jokic is not the type of player who they've rested throughout the year, throughout the season. So he's not the type of player that, like Giannis this week. I don't think he has any injuries that we've heard of. He hasn't been questionable or tagged as probable in any of the games. So let's see. Plus, I think they still are battling with Minnesota for that 6th spot for that playoff spot. And that Denver Minnesota game should be. I'm sure he would play that in that game, and given that they have a relatively good schedule, I think there's most likely he'll play all those games.
Hopefully, the Indiana game is worrisome because that could be an easy game. So, but that's very. I mean, when I saw the schedule, I said if you own Jokic, you're in the finals. Like in our league, Jeremy's opponent. If he gets into the finals, he has Jokic.
But if he gets into the I don't want to preempt it. I don't want to be too cocky, but yeah, if he gets into the finals, Jokic would be a good play for him. All right, yeah, that's scheduled for week 23, and we are wrapping up or winding down the fantasy season. Last 2 weeks, and of course, Judgment Day on Monday. But we'll be with you guys until week 24. So just keep listening or waiting for all the updates or the posts that we share on our Facebook page. And with that, we'll see you guys again tomorrow. Bye.
Bye.